Hi everyone and welcome to Don't Hurt Me, I'm Bullied. This is a new series of videos I wanted to make because I've been recently browsing through YouTube rankings, rankings of albums, especially progressive rock albums, but it works in every kind of genre, the worst to best. And I've been quite baffled by the way some albums are bullied. Some albums are the scapegoat, and every time it falls on them. So of course you've got albums that are really bad, but I've got many albums that I really like, even love, and I would say that some of them I love them, but I didn't know they were hated back in the day. So my opinion about them is true. I like those albums. I don't want to get separated from them. So I wanted to give a little hello to those albums that are way too hated. Sorry, English is not my first language, you can tell, so there will be many mistakes, grammar and everything. But the sincerity in my eyes and my voice, I hope they will shine through. And the first one I wanted to bring upon the scene is one that will, I think, astonish you. Because it is Dream Theater's The Astonishing. I know it's kind of weird for a first video about that kind of albums. I don't have it in vinyl because the vinyl is outrageously expensive. And it's 8 sides, and believe me, you cannot listen to this album on 8 sides without losing your temper and your mental. You cannot. Why? Because this album is widely seen as a faux pas in the Dream Theater career for many reasons, one of them being overlooked. For the context, Dream Theater is what we call metal prog or progressive metal, which is a blend between the progressive rock, symphonic rock of the 70s and heavy metal, not to mention thrash metal of the 80s. It's a blend between Yes and Metallica, if you could widen the thing. And Dream Theater is not progressive metal. It is the progressive metal. I mean, there is no denying that their album Images and Words is the single most important album in the whole genre and even in the whole 90s music, whatever you think about it. You can hate it, but you cannot, undertone how it was incredibly it was breakthrough. And so The Astonishing is the third album from their new then lineup. In the beginning of the 2010s, they separated with original drummer Mike Portnoy, who was the founder member and the brain behind the band. So they did 2 albums, and then they went with The Astonishing. And The Astonishing is something like you never heard about Dream Theater, and maybe this is why it flopped. First of all, it's a double album. But it's not just a double album, it's a double cram to the max album. It's been seen as really overlong, and I cannot tell otherwise. It's really too long. It's too long even technically. I mean, when you're listening to a CD, the modern CDs have a maximal capacity of 79 minutes and 59 seconds. The first CD of this album is 80 minutes and 1 second. It's 2 seconds more. It's nothing, but it's a statement. We are doing things overblown, and some older CD players will not play the last seconds of this album, even not the last minutes, because well, it's technical, but whatever, it can crash into your CD player. So it means that they went for it. I mean, they could not stand trimming 2 seconds in a single CD, and there's 40 or 45 minutes in the second CD, as you can see. Well, the vinyl version is much more beautiful, but it's unlistenable. As you can see, it's your to go 2 CD digipack concept album, and that's where the main issue is. Is Astonishing a concept album? Not for me. To me, this is a musical. What is the difference between concept album and musical? It's quite thin, but the main thing is the concept album is one song, one character, one state of mind. Musical is into one song that could be, 2 minutes long, not overly long. You got several characters talking to each other, reacting to each other, and trying to make the story go forward. And that is the Astonishing. The problem is that James Labrie, the vocalist, tried to do all the main characters by himself. And so he performs each and every character, whether it's the good guy, the bad guy, or, the princess. So he's trying his best, but it doesn't work. And that's the main problem with the Astonishing. It's been written as a musical. There's no denying about this, but there's only one singer trying to impersonate people. And so it feels more like a parody rather than a real thing. That is the main reason why it flopped. It's overlong, and that is true. It's really overlong, and the fact that you got only one vocalist makes it quite bland. For those things, I understand why Astonishing was, not well received. The vinyl was, the price of the vinyl was astonishing, as it was. And you've got other people, when I'm saying other people, sorry, you've got other troubles with that. The main one being Mike Mangini. I always hated Mike Mangini as a drummer. I'm sorry. I know he's great. He is great. There's no denying about it. He's a great singer. He's a great drummer. But on this album, very particularly, it sounds like a drum machine. And it sounds like a bad drum machine from the prog rock, the American prog rock bands of the early 90s, like Magellan or Shadow Gary in the first album. It sounds incredibly bland. And it sounds like it doesn't understand what the music is about. And that is very, very bad. And the other thing I understand that Dream Theater people didn't like it, is that it's the most acoustic, it's the most bare bones album that you could find in a whole Dream Theater catalog. I won't say it's acoustic or unplugged, but it's very, very piano and acoustic guitar driven. Really, a lot. And I mean a lot. And as it is an overlong album, you can, thrive to it and suffer through it, thinking, oh God, come on, Bryan Adams, it's okay, but, give me the heavy metal riffs. And you won't find them there. And when you do find them, for example, in the Dystopian Overture and The Gift of Music, which is the duet of songs opening the record, you got Mike Mangini completely destroying the whole thing. But that's where I want to come to. As a musical, as an acoustic musical, The Astonishing is very rewarding. It's not an easy album. And yet it is. I mean, it takes 5 or 6 listening sessions to really capture the essence of it. And that's what prog rock should be. Musicals too. Except maybe for Les Miserables, but whatever. You've got this very, very acoustic, very stripped down, bare bones album. And as it is bare bones, you've got John Petrucci on the acoustic guitar, and Jordan Rudess plays the grand piano more than ever in any Dream Theater album. You've got a sense of melody, and you've got tens of melodies in this album, and they are, scattered throughout. You got to listen to them. You got to hunt for them, and when you do find them, you will find that it's a very delicate and very intricate album that's very well done. It's overlong, but it's very rewarding. And when you come to the end of the second CD, there's a kind of a sense of generosity that they put through, and it gives a real ending, a proper ending that's really worth the wait. But you've got to go through very cringy moments. Yeah, I got to admit that it is overlong, and that comes to the 2 other things I don't like in this album. The first one is that there is no DVD, no Blu-ray from the tour, because they had the guts to tour with this album, performing it in its entirety. And trust me, when you listen to it and you listen to the amount of melodies, I know that Jordan Rudess has a shit score, but holy how does it do it? And there was a stage, there were scenes with robots coming, there were sound effects and everything. And you had James Labrie, who had to impersonate all the characters. Well, he did it, not that great. And James Labrie live. But there's this, kind of... I know it's going to be bad, and it's going to be bad 5 times because he's performing 5 characters at once. How bad will it do? And I'm craving for a DVD or Blu-ray of this tour, because people who went to see it, and majorly, I'm not English, I don't know the word. They all dislike the album. That's great. They disliked the album. But they went to go and see the tour, and they liked it. And they were like, it was not a heavy metal gig. Of course not. But as a musical, and some people did say it, I was quite... It was okay. It was more than okay. And I'm going to listen back to the album tomorrow. So... this album has been widely panned as Dream Theater's maybe worst step. Worse than their first album, worse than Falling Into Infinity. Falling Into Infinity was too commercial. I don't agree with that, but I don't like Falling Into Infinity, but not for the same reasons as other people. So maybe it will be another video someday. But I cannot stress enough that people should give a second chance to the Astonishing. And there's one last thing I love. Now that Mike Portnoy is back on the ship, I'd love him, and I'd love him to make a Mike Portnoy director's cut of the Astonishing. Him first, re-recording and rethinking each and every drum part whatsoever. No more Mangini, okay? No, just Portnoy, rethinking the whole. They have multi-tracks, they have the master tracks, so they can give Mike Portnoy the whole album without percussions and drums, so that it can impregnate from all the melodies. And I can tell you there are tons of melodies in there, tons and tons of easy and very beautiful melodies, really very, very beautiful. As beautiful as, Spirit Carries On, that kind of thing, very simple but very effective. So you really got to listen to this with, trying to hunt for the melodies, and you will find thousands of them. Well, maybe not thousands, but tens. That I can assure. I love his book. And I'd crave for a Mike Portnoy director's cut, which means it records all the drum parts and it trims and plays with the track listing and everything, so that it could be the Astonishing reduxed. And for that, maybe I would buy it on vinyl. Vinyl is 100 euros back then. So this is it. This is the Astonishing. I really like you to give it a second chance or a first chance, because if you want to go into prog metal, but this is not the way to begin prog metal. Images and Words, of course, or Scenes from a Memory is better. This is the difference. Scenes from a Memory is a concept album. This is a musical. There is no denying about this. Absolutely not. And I could end my video saying this is one of Dream Theater's worst albums according to their YouTube rankings. But if this was a Jim Steinman solo album, it would sell. So give it a try, and don't forget to comment, because comments are always welcome. See you maybe next time for another third polished